The law of the I Am is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the I Am is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the I Am are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the I Am is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the I Am is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the I Am are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold, sweeter than the honey and the honeycomb. Psalms chapter 19, verses 7 through 10. Praises to the Most High. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the I Am, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Psalms chapter 1, verses 1 through 3. And this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein, for then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Hosea chapter 1, verse 8. All praises, all praises. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're walking in the law with Mr. Clay. Yes, we thank God for you, and also we thank God for those of you who have been with us since the beginning, and those of you that have been with us here and there's about, and we thank God for those of you that have just subscribed, as well as those of you who are about to subscribe, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, we're in the law. We're walking in the law this time. And we decided we're going to go through the book of Deuteronomy. Well, we're just going to do a little bit of the book of Deuteronomy. I believe chapter 6 is where we were. Yeah, chapter 6. We're going to give this walking in the law a number of weeks rest, and then we're going to start right back over again. That you might look through it and study it yourself. You know, we're going to walk back through it, and we're going to come up with different things and different ways of saying something that it might catch somebody, someone, somewhere. That they might get out of the paganistic religions and those religions that give God a son and worshiping a rock and all these other things, and turn to the true and living Creator, even the I Am that I am. Now, what he has just given in verse 6, we're going to go over. Now, these are the commandments and statutes that the judgments which the I Am, your God, commanded to teach you. Moses taught them. Before they went into the land, these were the Constitution. This was the Constitution. This is the law. I don't care how much religion people call themselves having, it is the law of the Most High, who wanted to use. He's going to show us some points here. Moses is going to show us some points here about this law. Yes. What is one of the reasons for the law? That thou mayest fear the Lord thy God, or the I Am, or the Eternal, or Yahweh, Yahuwah, or Yahweh, or whatever you want to call him in that sense that is right. To keep all his statutes, his commandments which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's son. This There is no end of days, he's saying, all the days of thy life, and that thy days might be prolonged. In other words, if you keep the law, your days are going to be prolonged, period. It's what he's saying, that thy days may be prolonged. The may comes in there because it all depends on you. It all depends on you. My words are getting a little jumbled here. It all depends on you and how you keep the law. Now, he's about to bring them into the land that floweth with milk and honey, and the law has been established. The people have been taught, just like you're taught the law through school and different things, you know, about speeding, voting, the laws as far as, you know, conceal carry, what would happen if you assault someone and all. This is the same thing here. All the laws of the land are patterned after the law of the Most High, really. He said, hear there, O Israel, Jacob, and all of Israel. Observe to do it, that it might be well with thee. Observe to do the law, that it might be well with you. No matter how the earth goes, always stick with the law. This is your heritage. This is the land. The earth belongs to the Most High. And if it belongs to the Most High, and if you're keeping the law, it belongs to you, because you're saying that this earth, whatever belongs to God, belongs to me, because I keep those things that pleases my God. Yes. Not no other God. Now he goes on and says, and that ye may increase mightily, as the I am God of thy fathers have promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey. He's talking about goat's milk now. He's not talking about cow's milk. Hear, O Israel. Now this is the whole essence of it all. This is where you strike out the whole New Testament and everything that it claims. Because even the New Testament having the truth of the law and all this other stuff, they do that. It's very cunning. If you really look at the New Testament, it's been cunning since its inception. It's been a cunning piece, and even those, it's written in Ge'ez. It was written in Hebrew first, and then you had Latin, and you had all these other languages. But the thing about it is that even a Jewish man, Daniel Bernstein, talked about how that all this was for control. They couldn't control them through the Egyptian law. But as soon as they figured out how to write or how to manipulate this Bible, this Jewish, or should I say this Hebrew, this Israelitish law, by giving it a Christ, by giving it a Messiah and all these other things. We got it now. And so now they got you. Now he says, hear, O Israel, the I am thy God is one God. One creator. There is no one beside. God has no sons. Even in the Old Testament, the sons of God, no. It's when they have changed all these things. Those responsible are they. To fit the idolatrous narrative. To make you can't see for looking. God has to open your eyes. Now, he says, the I am thy God is one God. One. There is no Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. That is Greek talking. God is holy. God has no sons. God is the creator, not the copulator. Thank you. And thou shalt love the I am thy God with all thine heart. And all of this is the law. Regardless of what, they copied this in the New Testament. Yes, they did. How do you love the I am thy God with all thy heart? Keeping the law. Keeping Thou shalt have no other gods before me. You should not have no Jesus, no Yahusha, no Yahweh Shai before I am your God. There should not be anyone. This is how you love. You should not make any images to bow down before them. This is how you love the I am your God. You should be zealous about your God, your leader, the one who have taught you fairness. This is what he's saying here. He said, with all thy soul and all thy might, loving thy God above even your own life. As some have demonstrated throughout history in the scriptures. And these words I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. He said, love me. This is what God is saying. If you love me, it ain't about you squeezing me. It's not that affectionate love. It's the love of obedience. This is also the love of responsibility. This is also between man and woman. The love of obedience, being agreeable with God. This is what it's about. This is why it's always an analogy with the marriage between husband and wife. Or wives, should I say. Well, it's always wife because it's unless you, it's going to be one-on-one eventually. But nevertheless, he said, thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. This is a commandment. Thou shalt teach the laws, statutes, commandments, and ordinances to thy children. This was the biggest flaw of the children of Jacob, even to this day. This is why you get caught up in so many things and you say, God, why me? We go to church, we do all. You do not keep the law, you worship another man. You hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God, even the I am thy God is one God. There is no other gods. There's no demigods. There's nothing. They are all created what you seek and what you, there's no angel that stand, there's only one group of angels or created spirits that he created to praise him, because the Most High is worthy to be praised 24/7 at every breath. Yes. To praise the Most High, yes. If you can do that, oh, you won't be on this earth long. Look at Enoch. His heart was toward the Most High. His heart was to know the Most High and the Most High's way. And God, the Most High, chose Enoch to come see. Come up hither and see. He chose Ezekiel and Jeremiah. He ain't choose no Jesus or no Yahweh Shai or no Husha. That's the name made up. All of them, really. Because if you put it down, it means the I am with us, but that is wrong. God's not going to sit up, the Most High is not going to sit up there and tread his life for a bunch of unthankful, unforgiving, hideous human beings that will not adhere to even corrupt what he has for the children of Jacob in the future. That's why we have to really understand these are a mirror of what is in the realm of the Most High now. The angels are, what we call angels are obedient. They worship the Most High. They even have the same, according to the book of Jasher, or should I say Jubilees, they even have the same feast days and all these days, even though they do not eat. These things are there. They have rest days. Yes, not that they're tired, but there's a day where they're not busy with the affairs of men. These words I command you this day shall be in thy heart. That's what he's saying. Teach your children the laws, commandments, statutes, and ordinances of the Most High. That's what he's saying. Not how to stand up, sit down, raise your hand, whatever ceremony you do in church or your mosque or whatever, your salat and all this other stuff. God don't do stuff like that. That is the auspices of men. Period. And thou shalt teach them diligently what? The law, statutes, commandments in verse 7 of, we're in Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 7. Teach them diligently unto thy children, and shall talk to them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou... In other words, you should always be talking about the law. That way the children become sensitive to the things of the law. When they encounter this wayward world and all the different liberal things they do, all the nasty things they allow, and just because everybody's doing it, my God is not allowing that to happen. I'm not doing it because my God says no, and my common sense says no. Thou shalt teach them diligently. He didn't say slack your hand. You teach them to your children. Because your children have a whole torment of a world to go through in their lifetime. Your children have to deal with every turn and whim of life. But there's a seed within the seed of Abram that God is going, this is called the remnant, that God is going to deliver. And they're going to rule the whole world and to multiply and become great. Yes. No more white supremacists. No more Arab trying to take everything and enslave the darker races. No more even of the witchcraft and the tribal disputes that happen throughout the land. No more the greed of certain entities, drug trafficking and human trafficking and all kind of trafficking. Then you wonder how they got rich. Come on here. But either way, he says, when thou liest down and when thou rise, talk about the law. He said, talk about the law all the time. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. In other words, those things that you frequent are those things you're going to talk about. If you meditating on the law day and night, night and day, if you're reading about the law, if you're meditating on it, it's going to be second nature. This is why it's so important to really study the law. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes, and thou shalt rock them upon the post of thy house and on thy gate. In other words, put them in a picture frame. Make that your art. Paleo Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, or however you want to put it, that the law is put in each one. And someone asks you, what does that mean? Thou shalt not commit adultery. That's what it means. Put these things in your home. Dress it up. He says that it shall be when the I am thy God shall have brought thee into the land. Now, this is for them. You've already been given your constitution. You know what to do and how to do it. Now, go possess the land. And so as it did, and so it shall be. He says, now, beware, lest thou forget the I am, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Beware that you forget not the commandments, statutes, ordinances of the I am, who have brought you out of the darkness of this religious world and put you into the light of the law of the new world that shall come, even that which shall be governed by the I am. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. You should study it day and night. Look at he says, he goes again. See, this is throughout the whole Old Testament. Ye shall not go after other gods. Leave them alone. Your Jesus, your Yahweh, your Yahusha, your Gabriel is not a god. That's something they done made up. Gabriel has a job. Read in the book of Enoch what job Gabriel has. But these people love a lie rather than the truth, even more so. They love the mysticism. They love the excitement. They love the things that seem to, and rightly so. The Satans make them feel as though this is the way, this is an exciting way, this is an exhilarant way, this is a more devout way, a religious way. That's their job. They're supposed to do that. That's why they call the Satans. Yes. There's no one spirit that is equal to the Most High. None. He said, thou shalt fear and serve the I Am, and shall swear by the I Am's name. You shall not go after other gods of the other people round about you. You're in the land of captivity. The other gods of people round about you. You have paganism. We know what the pagan are. You have the religious that try to latch on and try to borrow and steal from the original, which is the law, statutes, commandments, and ordinances of the Most High. He says, for the I Am is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of the I Am be kindled against thee and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. The Most High have already turned the other nations over to other spirits for their destruction. Don't allow yourself to be messed up by their prosperity or their power or their might. They're already judged. They already have unless one come out of them that sees the way of the Most High, even the law, which is the way, the truth, and the life we should live. Yes, it is. Your Jesus or your Hawashai, Yahushua cannot even steal that phrase right, because there's nothing that this entity has done to be like that. It is because of the law you have a way of life. You shall not tempt the I Am your God. Don't be charging God with crazy stuff. If my grandmama live, then I'll serve you. Or I won't serve you if she won't live. How foolish. But either way, ye shall diligently keep the commandments of your God, and his testimonies and his statutes which he has commanded you. You shall do that which is right in the sight of the I Am, that it might be well with you. This is promise. Even in Joshua 1:8, that was a promise. You will have good success. In Psalm chapter 1, yes. And also Psalm chapter 19. There were promises with this. He says, when thy son, in verse 20, when thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, what mean the testimonies, the statutes, and the judgments which the I Am our God hath commanded you? And then you will say, we were Pharaoh's bondmen. But we went back to Egypt with ships. And now we're in captivity. And at that time, when God really restores back the true Israel, and the sons of Levi are cleansed, not only in their blindness, but also restored back to their original state. Now, and it shall be in our righteousness we shall observe to do all these commandments before the I Am our God, as he hath commanded us. That's verse 25. In other words, can't reiterate enough and how much we should always endeavor to keep the commandments, statutes, ordinances, and laws of the Most High. And some of you have went crazy when it comes to the Sabbath. For that reason, we want to go back to the book of Genesis. This is what you're going to tell them. Those who oppose and all of that. We're in the first, and I believe it was the first chapter. It was about the fourth day. I think that was the 17th verse or somewhere around there. Yeah, 19th verse. The 19th verse, the first chapter of Genesis. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Now he started at the evening and the morning. Okay, now we're going to start here. God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament firmament of the heavens to give light upon the earth. He's talking about the sun, the moon, and the sun. God made two great lights. The light to rule by day and the lesser light to rule by night. And he set them in heaven, the moon and the sun. Yes, he did that. The Most High did that. So what happened? After he's done that, the Most High has established time. And with that time, the evening and the morning were the fourth day. That all this stuff has occurred according to this narrative. And then, after all of that, after everything had been done, the sixth day, God saw everything that he made, and he just ceased from his creating. On that sixth day, after that sixth day, the seventh day, at evening, the sixth day at evening, when the moon came up, God, the I Am, ceased. Because the moon rise at dusk. Many of us, we will see the moon rising at dusk. We'll see the moon rising and the sun will appear red in most regions. That is the beginning of the next day. So when God had established time, the fourth day was the establishment of time. The evening and the morning were the fifth day. It took him 5 days to establish time. 4 days, should I say. 4 days to establish time, that man might know to number his days. For whatever reason, it took God 4 days, and the rest it only took 3. According to God's time. Now, a day is to the I Am is as 1,000 years. You can use that analogy. Yes, you can do that. It's written in the book of Jasher, but that's what it is. So we know that the Sabbath is on that evening. The first new month is at the new moon. The new moon. After the new moon, there is 7 days we will count, and that is the Sabbath at that evening until the next evening. And thereafter 7 days. And then the next new moon, we count over again 7 days, and there are our Sabbaths. The reason that they went through in the book of Ezra and Nehemiah with the other merchants coming, because that's one of the reasons, is that they did not know what day the Sabbath was on. They was always selling every day. They really had no rest. But they had to lock up the gates. Ezra had to lock up the gates in order to keep the merchants out, that the people might worship and rest before the I Am in the city of Jerusalem. And with that, if we keep those things that God has charged us to keep, and accept those things and turn from our wicked ways and do that which is right, we will have peace.